The nesting, one of nature's most extraordinary passions. Among the most incredible passions of the biological world lies the marvel of avian nesting. From a delicate egg, life stirs cells weave into an embryo, which emerges as a hatchling, a nestling, and finally, an explorer of a world full of miracles, dangers, and hopes. In this remarkable episode, our explorers venture into the lush wet zone of Sri Lanka to uncover the untold story of avian nesting. Nests are often species-specific, crafted with astonishing precision and creativity. Their construction, behavior, and purpose are nothing short of a natural marvel. Nests are as unique as the birds themselves, sometimes even specific to certain species. From intricate weaves to simple scrapes, avian nesting behaviors astound us with their ingenuity. Depending on the nature of their young, birds fall into two groups, altricial and precocial. Altricial chicks are born helpless, naked, blind, and utterly dependent, while precocial chicks emerge ready to move and fend for themselves. Our lens captures an endemic black-capped bulbul nest on a cherry plant. An exquisite architectural feat stitched with natural fibers and dead leaves. Helpless altricial hatchlings, naked, blind, and immobile, demand extensive parental care for food, warmth, and protection. In search of safety, many birds nest close to human habitats, unknowingly forging ecological alliances. From mouthfuls of caterpillars to the less glamorous duty of feces removal by swallowing, parental care is relentless. Grasshoppers, berries, and insects nourish these growing lives. For the whole period spent within the nest, the supreme duty of parents is to fulfill their nestlings' requirements. But danger lurks. A white-throated kingfisher strikes, turning hope into heartbreak. The most awaiting movement of life cycle of these bulbul parents, smashed for this nesting season. A huge hope for another pair of black-capped bulbuls. Nest building. The purple-rumped sunbird. Tiny architects of the lower vegetation, these birds weave pendulous nests from strands of bark, soft wool, fine plant fibers, and even cobwebs. Delicate masterpieces that sway like ornaments in the breeze. Prefer to nesting within home gardens, but danger lurks nearby. Predators like prowling domestic cats threaten these fragile cradles of life. The feeding time for busy parents. Within, a vibrant male, cloaked in iridescent plumage, and his more modestly coloured mate take turns in a tireless rhythm, returning again and again to feed their demanding chicks. Unlike the outer appearance, the inside of these nests are luxurious. The sole owner of kids' duties, the mother. She takes away the nestlings' feces. Completely different techniques of removing feces of nestlings, swallowing and takeaway. After a busy feeding round for her kids, a little interval had begins. A warmer relief for nestlings within these rainy evenings. In this quiet corner of nature. Look at her tiny but long tongue. What a nesting life. Busy mornings and afternoons, evening full of rest, sleepy but sleepless.
මේ තියෙන්නේ මේ කැම් එක ෆෝකස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔයාලට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. නෙස්ට් එකට ෆෝකස් කරලා තියෙනවා. නෙස්ට් එක තියෙන්නේ මේ අඹ ගහේ පාතම අත්තක දිරාගී අත්තක. ගිය පාරත් මෙතනම තමයි නෙස්ටිං කළේ. මේ පාර ඊට පල්ලෙහෙන් අලුතෙන් බෙනයක් හැදුවා. ඒ බෙනේ තමයි අපි වීඩියෝ කරන්නේ. අපි බලමු මොකක් වෙයිද කියලා. ඇත්තටම කිව්වොත් ක්ෂේත්‍රයේ මේ වගේ වීඩියෝස් කරද්දි ගොඩක් පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ දැන් ඒ වගේ සිදුවීමකට මුහුණ දුන්න විතරයි. බලන්න මේ අතත් ඉන්ජර්ඩ්, නල්ල ඉන්ජර්ඩ් මේ වගේ වෙලාවට අපි ෂූට් කරන්න කොහෙදද කොයි වගේ ස්ථානවලද කියන එක අතරම අපි බලන එක වැදගත් වෙනවා. මොකද හේතුව දැන් මෙතන බෙනේ තියෙනවා. මම මෙතන ෂූට් කර හිටියේ. කොල්ලතු දෙකක් වැටෙන්න නියමිත වෙලා තිබිසන එකක පොල්ලත්තක් වැටුණා අනපේක්ෂිත විදිහට. කැමරාවට මටවත් ආබාධයක් නැහැ. කැමරාවට ආබාධයක් නැහැ. මට පොඩි සිදුම් ටිකක් තියෙනවා. අන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ඩැමේජ්.
But the output is absolutely gorgeous. The carpenters of avian world, the brainy barbets and woody woodpeckers, also known as primary cavity excavators. Primarily it is for providing a safe and sheltered environment for breeding and raising their young. With shock-absorbing skulls, reinforced beaks and braced brains, barbets excavate wood relentlessly, nature's biomechanical solution to high-impact pecking. These endemic yellow-fronted barbets are very busy with carving their nesting cavity. This species restricted to the wet lowlands up to mid-hills of Sri Lanka and prefers well-wooded gardens closer to wild. But there may be several uses after the build-up of cavity nest in upcoming seasons. It will definitely promote these carpenters into keystone species within forest ecosystem, digging deeper and deeper. Sometimes they use the same cavity through more deepening. Borrowings are taking away. Look at the freshly prepared nesting cavity in a dead mango branch. She heard an alarm call of a palm squirrel, an emergency exit for her own safe. Not only for builders, have these cavities offered protection from predators and harsh weather conditions, ensuring the safety of eggs and nestlings. Later, she will lay 2-3 whitish eggs. Later, this nest will be a home for same barbets or a different species. They may be mynas, parakeets, woodpeckers as future descendants. The barbet's excavation paved the way for the hill myna to nest. The Sri Lankan hill myna, an endemic, uncommon breeding resident of the island's wet lowlands and misty hills. Devoted pair takes a short break in their nest-building journey. Documenting wild bird nests is an act of patience and stealth, a camouflaged art. These birds are remarkably shy. One sudden movement, one unnatural sound, and their behavior comes to a halt. We discover a nesting cavity, intriguing with several openings, but which is the true entrance? 10 minutes pass. No sign yet. We shift locations silently. Moments later, success. They return, carrying tiny sticks to shape their future home. Some mynas and owls favour open-top cavity nests, especially in ageing palm trees, not carved by barbets, but sculpted by decomposers, nature's silent architects. Now a closer look. The male, identified by his dark iris, vigilant, alert. The Female, her iris pale yellow-white, striking in her beauty, cautious in her steps. A sudden burst of sound. The sharp, musical whistles of the hill myna echo through the forest. This is our second confirmed nest of the Sri Lankan hill myna on this expedition. Pure luck, or perhaps a reward for persistence. There she is again, a vision of grace. Watch her, how she scans the trees. And listen. Can you hear the sound of her wings? Tickle's blue flycatcher, a common flycatcher species, distributes within Sri Lanka. The unique song is identical and easy to identify this species in the field. A tickle's female have a bath in warm, sunny noon. What a rare moment to watch. We filmed this from a hide. One remarkable feature about their nest is open cup nest builds within open tree cavity. We found this nest from Markandawa Forest Reserve. But unluckily it was an abandoned nest, invaded by a tarantula. We encountered a very rare moment, as well as a unique food chain incident happened with tropical rainforest. This tarantula is digesting the eggs and will finally end up with absorption of nutrient-rich egg core. Usually, Tickle's blue flycatcher lays 3 eggs per time, and here the parents lose all their eggs, but return to the nest, and fighting is unable to perform with the deadly venomous fangs of tarantula against them.
Hi guys, now I am in Markandawa Forest Reserve, Kitulkala. So I'm looking for Serendib scops owl. So I met a local tracker, so he's an expert on this. So he informed me that there is a finding of Serendib scops owl. So look at that. It's a very warm day. I think it will be very amazing. So with my all of the gears, plenty of leech attacks.
The Serendib scops owl, a master of camouflage, a living emblem of Sri Lanka's avian legacy. Elusive and enigmatic, this nocturnal icon usually lurks in the shadows of dense rainforest foliage, alone and unseen. But today, a rare spectacle unfolds. Not one, but 3. Beside the adult, 2 wide-eyed juveniles perch silently, a living testament to the success of the previous breeding season. Their presence whispers a story of survival, of mystery, and of hope. First described to science in 2004 by the renowned ornithologist Deepal Warakagoda and his team, the Serendib scops owl remains cloaked in mystery. Its breeding behaviour and nesting ecology are still largely unknown, an unsolved puzzle in the heart of Sri Lanka's forests. Though owls are typically inactive by day, these curious young ones break the rule, peering at us with fearless wonder, more animated than their watchful parent. And yet, here they are. A momentary glimpse into the secret life of a species that, even now, continues to defy the limits of our understanding.
Hi, welcome to the Sitaka Wetson Botanic Gardens. This is an anthropologically impacted ground for nesting birds. So you can see plenty of bird species and their nesting behaviors here. But you have to be a good observer.
Precocial red-wattled lapwings. Well-camouflaged 2 eggs on the open ground nest. Nest is just only some rocks, roots and debris. Sharp alarming calls from parents, but not on for us. Did he do it? Did he do it? It is a funny type of call. These lapwing eggs on ground are a delicious dish for monitors. But it is unable to reach with the super attention and caring of lapwing parents. mother lapwing incubating her eggs under warm sunlight. Few days later, the egg count is 4. Incubating is the most precious duty of parents, plus caretaking. Birds open and close their mouths primarily to cool down through panting, as they lack sweat glands and rely on this method for thermoregulation. Precocial lapwing chicks. Look how cute these two. So adorable. Unlike altricials, precocial hatchlings are relatively mature and mobile soon after hatching, needing less parental care than altricial babies. They are able to move around, find food, and regulate their body temperature shortly after hatching. Very lesser memory with their open ground nest. Sri Lankan jungle fowls and Sri Lankan spur fowls are iconic precocial species.
Hi my fellow birders. There are 2 main nesting periods that we can observe within the Sri Lanka. So the first one is January to April. That's the typical dry weather season for wet zone of Sri Lanka. But for dry zone, the nesting season appears from August to September. That's the typical dry weather season for dry zone of Sri Lanka. So there can be many deviations from this. The main factor is the climatic patterns. So depending on the climatic patterns, these seasons can be varied.
Mynas are closed nest builders, a super caretaking nesting model of Aves members. Scaly-breasted mynas and white-rumped mynas. Both male and female are active in nest preparation, and one is taking tender grass shoots and leaves to the nest. The other one is aligning them during her stay within the nest. This morning shift is busy for nesting parents. When fresh shoots getting drier, nest looks in brownish colour. Look what they did on shallow fresh water, searching for filamented algae. This may be a way they fulfill their protein requirement according to recent scientific research. This huge mango tree is not only a nesting ground for mynas, but also the weaver ants. A one myna nest with tens of weaver ant colonies. Stupefying predators as well as additional protection from painful sting attacks of weaver ants towards invasive predators. Clever decision of parent mynas. Same phenomenon of white-rumped mynas. This is a Vateria copalifera tree, an endemic one to Sri Lanka. This highly anthropogenic bird is nesting from above 7 feet from ground level. Look at this cup-shaped nest. It's tiny, but alive with 3 nestlings. Beautiful and wonderful fantail owners. Most of the birds prefer to nest close to the anthropological habitat. People love birds, and therefore they will gain an additional protection from humans over their nestlings. That's why these fantail flycatchers create their open cup in the lowest branch of the jacaranda tree located in the middle of the footpath. Fantail parents are very busy with feeding of their young. Feces removal by a parent bird. This is a well-known method to avoid predators from the nests. Ooh, a loud noise. A breathtaking moment for baby fantails. This species is a well-known territorial flycatcher species.
Hi guys, very good morning. So here now we are in a very urban habitat. So it's a great finding here. We met a barwing flycatcher nest. So it's actually marvelous, about 30 feet from the ground level, and actually they are making the initial stages of the nest preparation. So it's they're carrying out it on a broken branch of a wild plant to prevent the attack from stalk macaques. That's a prevention measure. So here you can see, I don't know whether you can see or not, but it's very far. I'll try with the telephoto lens to shoot it. It's actually 30 feet from the ground level, so it's very interesting. Okay, let's try to shoot this with my camera. It's here right there. Bird is coming. Bird came already.
But this bar-winged flycatcher nest is completely different from fantails when considered about nesting ecology. Located about 25 feet from ground, a well-camouflaged open cup builds on a dead hanging branch. But why? This area is highly invaded by torque macaques, an opportunistic invader primates. To protect their eggs from monkeys, flycatcher parents found a clever solution: a hanging open cup. Never cannot reach for monkeys. Monkeys are predators with a number of tactics. They find solutions for problems that they face easily. But this time, bar-winged flycatcher wins. High above in the emerald canopies of Sri Lanka lives the green imperial pigeon, the island's largest member of the Columbidae family. Often seen in pairs or small flocks, this elusive species roams the upper forest layers in quiet majesty. But today, a rare sight. Hidden just 10 feet above ground, nestled in the dense embrace of a bamboo bush, I stumbled upon a nest and witnessed one pigeon delicately carrying twigs to its cradle of life. Though a canopy dweller, the green imperial pigeon often chooses to nest in mid-level foliage, well concealed within bushy trees or shrubs. The nest itself, a loose, seemingly fragile platform of sticks, minimal yet sufficient. According to avian studies, this species lays just a single egg per nesting cycle. One egg, one life, one fragile hope amidst the forest shadows.
සමහර කුරුළු වර්ග වාසස්ථාන හදන්නේ කිසි කුරුළු හදන්නේ මනුෂ්‍ය වාසස්ථාන. ඉතින් මාසිත මෙතනට හොඳ උදාහරණයක්. ශ්‍රී ලංකන් සරෝ. මේ පම්ප් හවුස් එක.
Meet the mud nest builders, the endemic Sri Lankan swallows. Agile aerial hunters, they are fast-flying insectivores, mastering the skies with precision and grace. During the fragile days of egg incubation, their visits to the nest are rare, fleeting. But with unwavering patience, we captured few precious moments. Our journey through deep in the green heart of Sri Lanka, Sinharaja Rainforest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the crown jewel of endemic bird life. A sanctuary of mist and shadow, where nature's most devoted architects craft their homes in silence. A living testament to the boundless creativity of Mother Nature's most devoted sons. Another loose collection of sticks. A modest structure perched in the canopy. most likely the work of a Corvidae member. And then, there she is, the queen of Sinharaja, the Sri Lanka blue magpie, an endemic gem, a miracle of the island's avian world. This vivid, rare species inhabits the wet lowland and montane forests of Sri Lanka. Noisy and sociable like her crow relatives, yet far more elusive. Look at her. A breathtaking display of chestnut, azure blue, crimson and white, nature's palette at its finest. According to the literature, this species practices community nesting, a rare behaviour in the avian world. And today, we witness more than the bird itself. We witness a nesting moment, the mother incubating her precious eggs. A simple nest, 5 meters above the ground on a slender tree, built from nothing but dead twigs. Nesting begins in January, with the female laying 3 to 5 whitish eggs speckled in brown. This tree offers more than support. It offers safety, a rare refuge for a globally threatened endemic. But even here, threats remain. Brood parasitism, when other birds lay their eggs in this nest, continues to challenge the species' survival. Still, she persists. I spent nearly an hour watching in silence, witnessing her careful routines. A small break. She searches for food and water, never straying too far. A hidden tree cavity holds precious water, a natural reservoir for cooling herself during the heat. And then she returns to her world, to her purpose, to her future. Filming wild birds is not just documentation, it is an art. Hours of waiting, rewarded with fleeting moments of pure wonder. This was one of them, and it was precious. Another endemic ground-dwelling bird species in Sri Lanka, the spot-winged thrush. Spot-winged thrush preferred forest floors of tropical rainforests like Sinharaja. Very careful among the leaf litter, it's searching for insects within debris. That's the feeding pattern of ground thrushes. This territorial bird has very high-pitched whistled melodies. Thrushes are usually shy and try to get away from human contacts. But this time, it's different. We met this low-level open nest of spot-winged thrush 2 feet from ground. This open cup is made out of fibres, roots, debris, and camouflaged within undergrowth using mosses, ferns, and lichens. Eggs are greenish with reddish-brown dots. Rain appeared, and a short break started. Tea with jaggery, a pleasant tea break. I have to wait for more than 15 minutes until the parent bird arrives. Then she started incubating her eggs. Continuously, she caring for her eggs until her offspring become independent. But if she meets something unusual, she left her nest for a few minutes. A sudden jump. Arboreal snakes are deadliest predators for eggs and nestlings. Bronzebacks are one genus of tree snakes mainly depend on eggs and nestlings. The Shokkar's bronzeback, look how amazing it swings its body, maybe watching for a prey in patience. A non-venomous, fast-moving arboreal snake species in wild. The moderately venomous green pit viper, another matured sense on young preys. This guy waiting steadily in daytime and active in search of prey during night. Look at its camouflage greeny appearance. Green vine snake appears like a vine. This slender arboreal snake is mildly venomous and a deadly trap for nestlings and eggs of birds. Here we are searching for frogmouths. Still no luck, not on that moment. But finally we found it under the bushy undergrowth of Sinharaja. Unlike owls and owlets, frogmouth builds up their own nest. An open cup consists of mosses and lichens. Inside of the nest is comfortable with feathers. The thing is that out of all nocturnal birds in Sri Lanka, this Podargidae member is the only bird species that create an open cup nest, lays only one whitish egg. This is a broken nest of frogmouth by opportunistic torque macaques. Look at that, they are like angry birds, a trusted camouflage to avoid predators. Darkness had begun to settle as we left the Sinharaja World Heritage Rainforest. Then, on the left side of the winding road, we witnessed one final marvel. An enormous open platform nest, perched high and bold. This was no ordinary nest. It belonged to the changeable hawk eagle, a majestic member of the Accipitridae, the raptors of the sky. As expected, the structure was massive, designed to hold a single whitish or brown-streaked egg, resting securely within a fortress of twigs and branches. And there she was, the sovereign of this aerial domain. In the fading light, she paused, likely digesting the final meal of the day, before gliding to a branch above her nest where she could oversee her precious egg. When night cloaks the forest, she will resume her duties, a silent sentinel under the stars. From urban home gardens to the deepest tropical rainforests, this expedition captured the astonishing diversity of avian nesting behavior in Sri Lanka. Open platforms by eagles, pendulous masterpieces by sunbirds, exposed cavities by flycatchers, tree hollows by barbets and mynas, open cup nests by bulbuls, loose stick nests by crows and pigeons, ground nests by lapwings, mud-cast homes by swallows, and mystery Serendib Scops owls. Each nest tells a story of survival, instinct, and adaptation. This chapter ends, but the Ceylon Nesting Expedition continues. Stay tuned, the next discovery awaits beyond the canopy.